So what has happened to Alex Jones? Am I the only one that is noticing he has been different lately? He's not been the same man that I grew up listening to. He's changed course. And I hope it's not for permanency. I hope he is just kind of testing waters. I think his brain has been fried a little bit. He's a man that's been under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, more than most people endure their whole lifetime. And he's endured it in the last 10 years. And I think what finally broke him was Donald Trump calling him out on True Social. This was back in April, and we'll take a look at that in a little bit. But before I criticize Alex Jones, I want to explain why this is actually difficult for me to talk about. Because I've looked up to Alex for a long time. This is a man who came out of public access television in Austin, moved into radio, built InfoWars from the ground up, and became one of the original giants of independent media. He confronted powerful institutions before YouTube, podcast, or social media made that normal. He infiltrated Bohemian Grove, warned people about government surveillance and global power structures, and survived years of ridicule, censorship, lawsuits, and coordinated pressure. Whether you agreed with everything he said or not, Alex Jones had courage, and he had a voice that was unmistakably his own. That's what makes his current direction so difficult to watch. Since losing control of InfoWars, clashing with Donald Trump, and moving deeper into Candace Owens' orbit surrounding Charlie Kirk's assassination, Alex doesn't seem like the same man. His appearance, his energy, and even some of his own posts feel unrecognizable. It reminds me of watching one of the greatest athletes of all time stay one season too long. You remember the championships, but slowly, painfully, you begin remembering the decline. So what happened to Alex Jones? Is he uncovering the biggest conspiracy of his career? Are we watching a legendary voice lose himself down someone else's rabbit hole? Now, this is what I would start it off with. If you look at this, this is kind of really what teed me off and tipped me off of this decline, this happening. When Alex started just backing a lot of the things that Candace Owens has been posting, because Candace Owens is sinking people's careers. And I know a lot of people are aware of this, but not everyone. And some people are hitching their wagons to her and are fine with going down with the Titanic that is Candace Owens. Because she's gone on a run, this crazy run of just staying on top of Charlie Kirk's assassination from the beginning. She was out of the gate creating conspiracies, trying to find where the evidence leads, where she says it leads. But she has fallen off a cliff without question. No, there's everything that she's doing. She is being disproven every step of the way, but she's asking questions about everything. So she might be able to flare up and get something right. But overall, her structure and what she's built is crumbling. And I'm very surprised why Alex Jones feels compelled to join with her in her demise. But this is what it starts off with. He jumped on to what Candace Owens put out regarding this, and I know a lot of people have already seen this different angle of this man on the roof, which is more than likely Tyler Robinson. But it's the leaps that she does and what she put out there that, well, this must be some military dude that just was really there, and Tyler Robinson is just this pawn that's put there. But Alex Jones jumps on top of that post and says, bombshell, raw and unedited Charlie Kirk video leaks to Candace Owens, destroying official story. This is the same footage that the court will not let the public see, and we're meant to believe it's Tyler Robinson assassinating Charlie Kirk. We cannot verify one way or the other if this is who this is necessarily, but it's the leaps that Candace Owens is making. And I'm just absolutely surprised that Alex Jones was so quick to jump on it. And there's so many other things that this is destroying the narrative. He's just backing everything that she says, and everything is crumbling. He's not saying everything that she says, all these takes that she's making, that they're exactly right, which I respect him for this, because I do think there is something more to the story with what happened with Tyler Robinson. There has to be. But where the evidence is led is not that it's just there was some grand conspiracy between governments, the French and between Israel and the U.S. government, and they compiled this all together. A lot of these things turn out to be, it's not really all that we think of it. And just Occam's razor, the simplest explanation is usually correct. But Candace Owens is doing something darker here. She has her own agenda that she's pushing, and she's willing to take down whoever it is that she can take down along the way. It's not about like getting to the truth of the matter. That has been so far off the track for a long time at this point. It's who does she want to implicate? Who does she want to bring down? And she's going to tarnish their name along the way. And I've just seen that, like, Alex Jones, he was more hesitant to jump in with the conclusions that she was reaching. He was saying, like, there's something going on there, so more of a conspiracy that's led on, and that our government is hiding something, not allowing the full evidence to come out, withholding things from the public. It's just like what she did with Sean Ryan. She makes people fearful, and like they need to like appease her so much. Don't say anything bad about her. Don't try to like challenge her in any way. Like back in the spring, Alex was not afraid to do that. He was massively calling her out without question. He kept leaning in and just challenging her so much. And I'm surprised to see what has happened of late, because this is not the same man. And I think when he got lumped in with Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, which I I do respect Tucker Carlson, and I do still respect Alex Jones. But when he got put on blast, I think he like began thinking, what am I even fighting for? If I'm going to be called out by the conservative right, and he used to not be a person that thought that Israel was behind anything, or at least he was hiding it. At least he didn't want to say it. And he always was remaining pretty neutral. He always like talked about the people that are lemmings that just say the Jews did it, the Jews, Israel. Oh, it's got to be Israel. And that's what most people do. They fall back into that like low IQ laziness of just saying Israel did it. And he was very hesitant about that. But it seems like since Donald Trump put him on blast, and this is, I'm going to bring up the post. This is from Truth Social. This was back in April. This is the shot heard around the world, April 9th, where Donald Trump, he called out Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, and Candace Owens, and then Alex Jones. And he said some pretty harsh things about Alex Jones, because he is a man that has lost his empire, which it seems kind of crazy because he's still bigger than ever. That's why it's so befuddling to me why Alex is doing this. Why Alex is suddenly changing everything. He has to give everything up. Like they say that he's bankrupt, but you're still the biggest name out there. I mean, is it like where he thinks he's going to lose everything? Because there was a very demoralizing moment where I saw him. He went on to Tim Pool's show, Timcast IRL, and it was like a month before InfoWars was going out of business. He was losing it all, losing his studio. He was on there. He had more to drink than he should have probably, and he was just speaking like in slurs, wasn't making much sense, and he was just a demoralized man. You could see at that moment he just, and I just don't understand. Like, say you lose money, like you have it all, and then it gets taken away from you. You're still very respected. You still have a major megaphone. He goes on Tucker Carlson's show. He goes on like the biggest podcast that still does a lot of collabs with Nick Fuentes. I don't see why he thinks that he needs to sell his soul and lose all credibility at this point. Because hitching his ride to Candace Owens and just going down that, like, you can be questionable about like what happened with Charlie Kirk's assassination, because I think we all are. There's probably more going on that's been let out, because we've only seen just the beginning of the pretrial. But to jump on what Candace Owens put out there, that this video of something that was withheld from the public, and then that just proves that there's this massive psyop happening, the military involved, of taking out, when you really think about it, it just boils your mind. It makes your mind crumble to think that this is real. Like, you think our government got together with Israel because Charlie Kirk was possibly going to oppose the Iran war and was possibly not standing with Israel. He was suddenly turning from that they, for some reason, colluded with the U.S. government, the Israeli government, with the French government, and Egyptian planes to take out the biggest supporter of Israel, who was also the biggest supporter of Donald Trump. And even though he would have not liked the Iran war, he would have still stood with the president. I mean, I think we can understand he would have. There's nothing to say with Charlie Kirk's track record that he wouldn't have. So it just boils your mind to really think the things that Candace Owens, like, I mean, you could say like some of these things like, oh, well, that's odd. I wonder why that actually happened. But the leaps, the jumps to conclusions that she is taking just makes no sense, and it's way too much. And I'm it's sad for me to see that Alex Jones has jumped on this ride, because I think it kaplunked Sean Ryan in a lot of ways. It hurt Sean Ryan's credibility because he had Candace Owens on there and wasn't just like interviewing her and questioning her, challenging her, and like explain yourself. But he was like, here, I like almost supporting everything she says. And at this point, there's no going back with where Candace Owens is taking this whole ride. There's no like offshoot. There's no way to repair her credibility that she can ever be taken seriously again. I thought when she took off they took that break, and then they were having the pre-trial, and everything was just looking like just dismantling before our eyes of everything that she had been saying like 7 months leading up to that she was going to come off her vacation and be like, all right, I think we're going to pivot. We're going to go somewhere else. I'm sorry for what I've said. I was wrong about this, but it's been none of that. It's been completely doubling down on everything, tripling down. And it does make you question, like, we always hear about like Tucker Carlson. How does he have such an inside with these foreign governments, with Russia, with Qatar, with these Middle Eastern countries? And even Candace Owens, like they have all this in, like, are there these foreign governments that are just boosting some of these people, throwing all these bots into their channels, trying to destroy people that question them, and supporting everything that they say? And is Alex Jones a part of this? Alex Jones made me love conspiracies, made me like intrigued about it, like nobody else has. Like he made it like interesting, and he made you question things that you wouldn't before. But it's like, I think the black pill to Alex Jones has been by far Candace Owens. Not even just like of him aligning with her in certain ways, but she came along and she just completely destroyed conspiracy theories. The possibility of there being any legitimacy with conspiracies. And it just seems like so like Twilight Zone that he's going to come along, and not only that have you like ruined my whole shtick and made it like nauseating of questioning these things, but he's going to come along and say, well, Candace Owens is breaking it open. You got to see this. This disproves everything. And it's like pointing to her video and what she's putting out there. This is probably a legitimate video that of the roof that for some reason, Candace Owens has it one way or the other. I don't even know how she got it. She says my source got it, recorded this, or somehow pulled it out of there. But either way, it doesn't change anything about like the evidence of Tyler Robinson being there, of being the most that everyone is attesting to him being the shooter, him confessing to it, his parents confessing to it. Like that would be like an absolute crazy moment if Tyler Robinson, for some reason, is not the killer. Because that is all the evidence say, like his parents, his boyfriend, like he has written confession, verbal confession to his parents, to his boyfriend. It just doesn't make any sense. Like this elaborate scheme of all these governments, and they have this guy, this random kid who's in jail, in prison, and not spilling the beans, of letting the cat out of the bag. Like, I'm framed. This is, I didn't do it. And jumping in on with Candace Owens. She's absolutely right. It just does not make sense at all. And I used to think like, well, like with our mind, like if maybe I don't know everything, maybe there really is something deeper going on, but this is just beyond anything that anybody could ever take seriously. And it's hard for me to see Alex Jones cast his lot in with Candace. Because he might step back and say, I'm not going down that, but the direction that he's heading, him boosting her, saying everything that she says, this is blowing it all open, and jumping on top of her posts, it just does not seem like Alex. It does not seem like the real guy. It does not, and I don't know what happened. It's been absolutely horrifying for me to watch and listen to, because I've been slow of coming to it, of just like giving him the best benefit of the doubt that I possibly can. But the things he has said has been tough, has been very tough to watch. So I would just say that, and I would just a little bit of like a background about what I've thought about Alex Jones, like for most of my life. And I remember watching him in the 2000s, or hearing him on the radio, and just hearing about this guy. He was very interesting, and he was like the pioneer before all of this. Before anyone was questioning really anything, he was the guy, and he was usually right, usually ahead of the curve, usually calling things. And he was almost the Michael Jordan of all of this. Like, he was better than the regular news, he was podcasting before podcasting was even a thing. And to see him just fall off this cliff that he's doing, and I don't think it's irrevocable, like it can't be reversed. But I think I'm almost using it as a plea, like, Alex, man, you're going off the deep end, man. And these things, they fry your brain. Trump, like the derangement syndrome for him, the derangement syndrome from Israel, because he always held it back, but for some reason he completely did 180, and he's no longer just saying, "Wow, that's interesting. I'm gonna check what the Israeli government's doing," but he is saying they're doing everything. That they're behind everything. They're controlling everything. Israel did it. Israel done it. And I also just want to, as a trip down memory lane for myself, I remember when there was that coordinated attack and effort between the social media, like all of the social media platforms, with Instagram, it was Twitter at the time, Facebook, and that one day, I don't even remember, it was probably around 2017, around that time frame, and they completely removed him, took him off the internet, canceled him completely. He was the first canceled guy. Like, Alex Jones was that. Before all these other cancellations came along, you could say some other nobodies out there, or that they got taken off something or whatever, that you couldn't hear them. But this was like all of the deep state of the social media platforms. They got together, they colluded, and they said, we're taking out this guy, because they were afraid of him. He was the person that was making people think, making people question things, saying things like he got destroyed by the Sandy Hook thing, but that was just he was opening up conspiracies to everything, and he was pretty reserved in a lot of ways. He didn't just say things willy-nilly. He took things too far at times, but he was one that was the Christopher Columbus, the Lewis and Clark, just pioneering through the West, and just uncharted territories. This was him, and I cannot get over that, and I cannot get past that, because I enjoyed him so much, and I still do. I don't follow everybody on social media. I don't subscribe to everyone, but I will subscribe to Alex Jones. I do stand with him in a lot of ways, and that's why overall it's been disheartening to hear and to see what he is becoming right now. And I don't know if someone's got something on him, if Candace Owens has got something on him, if some other government is giving him an easy way out because you've been bankrupted, we're gonna somehow give you support you in a certain way. But you have one of the biggest names out there, the biggest platforms, and people are going to listen to you. I don't know why you're going to risk ruining your legacy by jumping in on Candace Owens, her absolute craziness. It's been, and I'm very sad about that overall. And I just almost want to just issue this as a plea to Alex. Don't go down that route. Don't be like Sean Ryan and just and link arms with Candace Owens. And I know so many people, like even Tucker Carlson, but he's kept her at a distance, not a linking arms with her ideas. He's been very stark about that. He's been kind of like the Michael Knowles version that like, I like Candace. I love Candace. She's great, and she might be a decent person, but her ideas are corrupting. Her ideas are evil. Or the way that she is pushing things, what she is propagating is destroying minds. And I think she has put herself between a rock and a hard place, painted herself into a corner. All she is going to do is take people down. Because I don't think she feels like she can reverse course or change the trajectory, because so many people that are following her, some of the craziest people. I mean, they're not just watching her that they're interested in her, and just like her, but they're believing her, and she's melting their minds. And I just do not, for the life of me, understand why Alex Jones wants to be a part of that. He should separate himself as much as humanly possible from her, because she is going to destroy his legacy. And that's why I'm wondering, like, does she have something on him? Because it's been a complete 180, the way that he looked at her before and the way that he is going along with her narrative now. So I would just say, I just don't know if this is what it's always going to be going forward for Alex, but I hope it's not. So I'm just, like I've said, issuing this as a plea. Come back, Alex. Don't be like this. Don't taint and ruin your career, your legacy, and what you mean to so many people. And if you're an Alex Jones fan, let me know if you think I'm wrong about this. And I know I don't see everything that he's done, and but I just see like some notable points that he's making and decisions and direction that he's heading. It's sad to watch. So that's where I would leave it at. So drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this and about Alex, because to me, he is still the GOAT of the space of ideas. He has been the GOAT and the pioneer about all of this. So I respect him for that. And I don't want him to tarnish that legacy. All right, we'll leave it at that. I hope you all have a good rest of your night and a good rest of your weekend. See y'all.